The open ocean holds many mysteries. Vast and uncharted, it has been the backdrop for countless tales of adventure and intrigue. Among these, few stories are as enigmatic and haunting as that of the Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste, an American merchant ship, has captured the imagination of many since it was found adrift in the Atlantic Ocean in 1872. Its story is one of the most enduring maritime mysteries. This ship, built in Nova Scotia, was on a voyage from New York to Genoa, Italy, carrying a cargo of denatured alcohol. But it never reached its destination. Instead, it was discovered floating aimlessly with no sign of its crew. The ship was completely empty. The decks were deserted and the cabins were eerily silent. Personal belongings were left behind, meals were half-eaten, and the lifeboat was missing. No crew, no captain. The ship's logbook offered no clues, ending abruptly 10 days before the vessel was found. It was as if the crew had vanished into thin air. The disappearance of the Mary Celeste became one of the most baffling maritime mysteries of the 19th century. Newspapers around the world reported on the ghost ship, fueling speculation and fear. The mystery gripped the public imagination. People from all walks of life were captivated by the story, and theories about what happened to the crew began to circulate. How could a seaworthy ship be abandoned? What could have caused the crew to leave so suddenly without taking their personal effects or even their lifeboat? Where did the crew go? Theories ranged from pirate attacks to mutiny, from natural disasters to supernatural events. Yet none of these explanations could fully account for the eerie abandonment. Theories abounded, but none provided a conclusive answer. Some suggested that the crew might have been overcome by fumes from the alcohol cargo, leading them to abandon ship in a panic. Others believed in more fantastical explanations, such as sea monsters or alien abductions. The Mary Celeste became a symbol of the unknown and the power of the sea. It represented the dangers that lurked in the vast, uncharted waters and the mysteries that might never be solved. The story of the Mary Celeste is a reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictability of the sea. It serves as a cautionary tale for sailors and adventurers, a testament to the enduring power of the ocean's mysteries. It is a tale that continues to fascinate and intrigue. The legend of the Mary Celeste has inspired countless books, movies, and documentaries, each trying to unravel the mystery of what happened on that fateful voyage. The legend of the ghost ship endures. As long as there are mysteries of the sea, the story of the Mary Celeste will remain a haunting reminder of the unknown. The Mary Celeste was launched in 1861. Built in Spencer's Island, Nova Scotia, the ship was a marvel of its time, designed for durability and long voyages. It was a brigantine, a type of two-masted sailing vessel, which was quite popular in the mid-19th century for its speed and agility. The shipbuilders took great pride in their work, ensuring that every plank and sail was meticulously crafted. Originally named Amazon, the ship was plagued by misfortune in its early years. It collided with fishing equipment on its maiden voyage and later suffered a fire. The Amazon also collided with another vessel in the English Channel, leading to significant damage. These early incidents seemed to cast a shadow over the ship's future, making many sailors wary of boarding her. Despite this, the vessel was purchased and refitted in 1868. The new owners invested heavily in repairs, hoping to turn its luck around. The ship underwent extensive renovations, including the replacement of damaged timbers and the installation of new sails. The refitting process was thorough, aiming to restore the ship to its former glory and make it seaworthy once again. It was renamed the Mary Celeste. The new name was chosen to signify a fresh start, free from the misfortunes that had plagued the Amazon. The rechristening was accompanied by a small ceremony attended by the ship's new crew and a few well-wishers. The hope was that this new identity would bring better luck and safer voyages. Under Captain Benjamin Briggs, the Mary Celeste seemed to overcome its troubled past. Briggs was a seasoned mariner with a reputation for being both skilled and cautious. He had a deep respect for the sea and understood the importance of maintaining a well-disciplined crew. His leadership brought a sense of stability and confidence to the vessel. Briggs was an experienced and respected mariner. He had spent years navigating the treacherous waters of the Atlantic and had earned the trust of his peers. His meticulous nature was well known, and he kept detailed logs of every voyage. This attention to detail ensured that the Mary Celeste was always in top condition and ready to face any challenges at sea. He was known for his meticulous nature. Every aspect of the ship's operation was carefully monitored, from the condition of the sails to the behavior of the crew. Briggs believed that a well-maintained ship was a safe ship, and he instilled this philosophy in his crew. His logbooks were filled with precise entries documenting everything from weather conditions to the ship's daily progress. He took command of the Mary Celeste, with his wife Sarah and their young daughter Sophia accompanying him on a voyage from New York to Genoa, Italy. This was a significant journey, not just for the cargo, but for the family as well. Sarah and Sophia's presence on board added a personal touch to the voyage, making it more than just a commercial endeavor. The family shared a close bond, and their presence was a source of comfort and motivation for Briggs. The cargo was typical: 1,701 barrels of commercial alcohol. This was a common shipment for the time, destined for the wine merchants of Genoa. The barrels were carefully loaded and secured, ensuring that they would remain stable during the voyage. The crew took great care in handling the cargo, knowing that any mishap could lead to significant financial loss. The crew consisted of 7 experienced seamen. Each member was hand-picked by Briggs for their skills and reliability. They were a diverse group, hailing from different parts of the world, but they shared a common goal: to ensure the safe passage of the Mary Celeste. The crew worked well together, their combined experience making them a formidable team. The Mary Celeste departed New York on November 7, 1872. The departure was smooth, with favorable winds and clear skies. The ship sailed gracefully out of the harbor, its sails billowing in the breeze. The crew was in high spirits, confident that this voyage would be a successful one. This was the last confirmed sighting of the ship with its crew aboard. As the Mary Celeste disappeared over the horizon, no one could have predicted the mystery that would soon unfold. The ship and its crew would never reach their intended destination, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and endless speculation. The DEI Gratia, a British brigantine, spotted the Mary Celeste on December 4, 1872. The sighting occurred under unusual circumstances, as the Mary Celeste was known to have left New York City bound for Genoa, Italy, just a month earlier. The ship was expected to be well on its way, but here it was, adrift in the vast Atlantic. It was drifting in the Atlantic Ocean, about 400 miles east of the Azores. The crew of the DEI Gratia was puzzled by the sight of the ship, as it appeared to be abandoned. The sails were partially set, and the ship was moving sluggishly, as if it had been left to the mercy of the winds and currents. The ship seemed to be in good condition, but it was sailing erratically. There were no obvious signs of damage or distress from a distance, which made the situation even more perplexing. The crew of the DEI Gratia decided to get closer to investigate further. Captain David Morehouse of the DEI Gratia sent a boarding party to investigate. He chose his first mate, Oliver DeVoe, and 2 experienced sailors to board the Mary Celeste and report back on their findings. The men prepared themselves for the unknown as they rowed towards the seemingly deserted vessel. They found the Mary Celeste deserted. The deck was eerily quiet, with no sign of the crew. The ship's wheel was unmanned, and the sails flapped loosely in the wind. The boarding party called out, but there was no response. There was no sign of a struggle. Everything seemed to be in order, yet the absence of the crew was inexplicable. The men moved cautiously through the ship, searching for any clues that might explain the mystery. The ship's logbook was missing. Personal belongings were untouched. The cargo was intact. The barrels of alcohol in the hold were undisturbed, and there was no indication of theft or foul play. It was as if the crew had vanished into thin air. The only lifeboat was gone. This suggested that the crew had left the ship voluntarily, but why they would do so in the middle of the ocean remained a mystery. The boarding party continued their search for answers. The ship's chronometer, a vital navigational instrument, was broken. The sextant was missing. These items were essential for navigation, and their absence raised further questions about what had happened to the crew. There was some water in the hold, but the ship was not in danger of sinking. The galley was well stocked, The provisions were sufficient for a long voyage, indicating that the crew had not been suffering from a lack of food or water. The crew's quarters were undisturbed, beds were made, and personal items were neatly arranged. It was as if the crew had left in a hurry, but there was no sign of panic or disorder. The mystery of the Mary Celeste deepened with every discovery. The disappearance of the Mary Celeste's crew is the central mystery of this case. 10 people vanished without a trace. Captain Briggs, his wife and child, and the 7 crewmen. There were no signs of a struggle or foul play. The lifeboat was gone, suggesting that the crew had abandoned ship. But why? And why was the ship in such good condition? The missing logbook could have provided clues, but it was never found. The crew's disappearance remains a perplexing enigma. Speculation ran rampant. Some believed the crew met a watery grave, others imagined a more sinister fate. The lack of evidence fuels the mystery. Theories about the Mary Celeste's fate abound. One possibility was piracy. The seas were not entirely safe in the 19th century. However, the cargo was untouched. Valuables were left behind. This makes piracy unlikely. Another theory was mutiny. Perhaps the crew turned on Captain Briggs and his family, but there was no evidence of a fight. The ship was in good order. Mutiny seemed out of character for the crew. Mutiny theories often involve the cargo of alcohol. Some suggest the crew got drunk and caused chaos. However, there is no proof of this happening. The Atlantic Ocean is a powerful force. Could a natural disaster explain the Mary Celeste? Some speculate a waterspout or rogue wave struck the ship. This could have washed the crew overboard. However, the ship was found in reasonable condition. A catastrophic event would have left more damage. The weather reports for the time were relatively calm. A natural disaster seems less likely. Theories involving underwater earthquakes or volcanic eruptions have also been proposed. These could release gases poisoning the crew. However, there is no geological evidence to support such events. The cargo of the Mary Celeste was industrial alcohol. Could this have played a role in the crew's disappearance? Perhaps the alcohol leaked, causing fumes that poisoned or incapacitated the crew. However, the barrels were inspected when the ship was found. There was no evidence of leakage. Furthermore, Captain Briggs was an experienced mariner. He would have been familiar with the dangers of transporting alcohol. Another theory suggests food poisoning. Perhaps the crew ate something contaminated. This could explain their sudden disappearance. However, there was no evidence of spoiled food on board. The lack of a rational explanation has led some to embrace more outlandish theories. Some believe the Mary Celeste was attacked by a giant squid or sea monster. Others suggest alien abduction. While these theories capture the imagination, they are highly improbable. There is no scientific evidence to support the existence of giant sea monsters or alien abductors. These explanations remain in the realm of fiction. The mystery of the Mary Celeste continues to fascinate and frustrate. Despite numerous investigations and theories, no definitive answer has emerged. The ship's story remains a haunting reminder of the unpredictable nature of the sea. The Mary Celeste has inspired countless books, films, and documentaries. It stands as a testament to the power of the unknown. The ship and its lost crew have become an enduring maritime mystery, forever etched in nautical lore.